intention with this car is I wanted to kind of make it similar to a car I once owned when they were brand new. On my original car, I painted this whole panel here and this little panel on this side, kind of a similar color blue as the exterior. And it was actually a duplicate color engine paint that, ironically, even though it was discontinued a long time ago, I actually was able to find the exact same color in a spray can that's never been sprayed. And I test sprayed it and everything works. So I think what I'm going to do is try to remove these panels and paint those blue. At some point also, this whole area, obviously the ashtray, everything is pretty bad. I want to remove this, repaint this panel here too. It's kind of hard to tell, on film, but you can kind of see there's a couple areas where it's like a little bit scraped up, like over here and down over here, a little over here too. So at some point, I'm gonna also repaint those panels. Mostly, this is really irritating. The rest of it I could probably clean up and it wouldn't really bother me as much, but at some point I'm going to replace this shift boot, so kind of makes sense if I'm taking this off I might as well repaint that. And I tried to, I got a bunch of dark gray paints and I tried to see if I had anything that matched almost identical, and everything's just a slight different shade of gray. So if I try repainting this ashtray cover, it wouldn't match anyway, so might as well repaint this. And then if I'm going to repaint this, I might as well repaint this, because these two colors are actually the same color gray. So we'll see how it goes. All right, I got all the trim off. To get that off, you have to actually remove this piece too. So what I might do, this goes on over the trim that I'm going to paint blue. So what I might do for now is paint the trim blue first and then put that back in place. And then possibly before I put this back on, I might just see about pulling the whole center console out and getting this piece out too, so I can paint that at the same time. The unfortunate thing is there's once again another snowstorm on its way. And we talked about up to 10 inches of snow. So I don't know if I necessarily want to tear this all apart yet. I might just wait till it warms up. But as far as the rest of this goes, I'm going to definitely clean all that up. All this dust and crap. I don't know if you could see it in here, but obviously it's been a while since any of that, or probably has never been cleaned, but Alright, so I have these panels painted, and as you can tell, they actually match really well with the exterior color. I'm not going to fully mount these in yet, because I'm going to let the paint kind of cure a little bit before pushing on it. I don't want to get like fingerprints and stuff embedded in the paint. Also, this hazard switch, I'm going to need to get a replacement bulb for that. I noticed when I took it out that the bulbs are kind of I think it's a T3 bulb, which you can't just buy at normal stores. But just to kind of get you an idea, when this is kind of in place, roughly, this is kind of what the interior looks like. I mean, obviously I haven't put everything back together fully, but it's just, again, this is pretty much exactly how I had the original Evo I owned. But like I said, I think at this point I'm going to just kind of let the paint cure a little bit before pushing it in and snapping it into place. Also, again, we're supposed to have another big snowstorm, so it's probably going to, be a good idea to just kind of let it sit for a while before coming out and it's, you know, covered in snow and everything, I might as well just wait. I don't want to rush it. I don't want to screw up the paint that's on here. But as you can see, it's coming along. And I'll include a picture of my original interior on the original car. I had, on my original one, I had kind of a blue gauge bezel cover and white face gauges. I actually kept the original gauge set that I had. They're just overlays. They kind of have the reverse Indiglo kind of thing. I actually kept those from my original car. Also, on my original car, I had kind of a dashboard dual pod with the boost gauge and air fuel ratio gauge. I'm having a little bit of an issue trying to find the same one that I had before. The one that I have, like, I ordered one and it came in and it's just kind of a pretty massive one. I know I had one that was like a little bit smaller, a little bit more lower profile, and I believe I might have found it online. I ordered it and I think it's gonna come in on Friday, so it's gonna be, you know, a little while before I know for sure if that's the right one. Down here I actually had the OEM pedal kit that they offered through the Mitsubishi dealer. I had them in silver. I actually have 2 sets of those, so I'm actually excited that I was able to find those. Those were pretty rare actually to find. And I recently was told by a Mitsubishi dealer that I tried ordering some parts from for this car. They were going to try to order me a set of those pedal sets, and they just today called me and told me that they are officially discontinued and that they will not be able to order those. So I'm glad I was able to get 2 sets. Another thing that I'm really glad about is kind of at the entrance of the door here. On my original car, I had a kind of a door sill plate that was brushed aluminum, and it kind of had like a little rectangle in the center that said Lancer Evolution in small text. I actually was able to find one of those sets that has never been mounted on a car, and it's like absolute perfect condition. I found one before on eBay, coming from Japan, of course, and the seller, they were still mounted on this piece. The seller basically wanted $450 roughly, and the pieces were all scratched up and also dented up, so they were kind of crazy expensive. And it's like, yeah, no, I'm not going to pay $450 for, you know, really worn out, beaten up parts. But I do have the original ones, and they're absolutely perfect. I mean, I actually almost thought it was like a scam or something because it seemed like it was too cheap, but it's legit. So I'm excited. So the main reason on my original car that I painted these panels blue was because when I first got this car, or the original Evo, the dark gray just made the car look dark. And this interior, other than the blue on the seats, the interior is basically black, gunmetal, gray, and like a little bit of silver. There's really not a whole lot of color to this car on the interior. So I figured it's like, well, you know, I was able to find this paint that matches like almost perfectly. Like you could see, basically the original color and this color, they actually look really well. And I can also include a photo that shows this panel here sitting next to the outside of the vehicle, so you can actually see side by side the exterior color with this color sitting next to it. It's almost perfect. It sucks that Duplicolor actually discontinued this color, but like I said, it's absolutely perfect. It matches great, and it's got the perfect kind of finish to it. I also managed to clean up all the areas underneath here. Same thing all around here. I cleaned up the buttons. I cleaned up all the switches and everything, like these switches here. I kind of scrubbed them up, you know, like kind of cleaned them up and everything, so those actually look really good. Another thing too is, at some point I have a turbo timer and a couple other pieces that I want to mount in here too. And I know I got to take the gauge cluster out at some point to change the or put the white face gauge overlays on. And I don't remember if I could take that off without removing these panels, but regardless, at some point these panels are probably going to have to come back off at some point, because I know I have to tap into the light wires. But like I said, it's coming along. I'll again kind of let you guys know as soon as, probably after this snowstorm is done. I'll let you guys know, what it looks like. It's nice that I got this panel off. I don't know if there's, a way to really mask these off without kind of peeling the material. If you look here, there's already a couple spots where it looks like the paint, the little soft touch paint or whatever, looks like it's kind of starting to peel. I don't know if I mask it off, if that's actually going to make that worse. So we'll have to see. I don't know if there's new overlays or something that I can get for it, or what, but we'll see. Either way, like I said, I'm going to at some point repaint that panel, and again, this whole area I'm going to repaint. And then while I got this out, I'm also going to pull the shift boot out. I got a replacement shift boot. I'm going to change this shift knob too. I actually have a Momo shift knob that has this same kind of style. And on my original car, I actually had, I think it was made by Pilot, but it was basically a knockoff Momo shift knob. So this time, instead of going with the knockoff, I actually went for the real deal. So this is kind of a recreation of my original Evo, or at least it will be when everything's done. And in a way, it's kind of a recreation plus, actually making it slightly better, because my original car, when I had it, it's like I owned it for several years, but money wasn't as plentiful as it is now for me. I was paying a lot of money to own this car, buying it brand new and everything. So it did kind of suck. So this time, hopefully, I'll be able to make this even better than the original. And unfortunately, the original one was totaled in 2008. So the third owner apparently crashed into a bridge. And there was undercarriage damage and everything else. So I was originally trying to find that one. I was hoping that I could find my actual car, but at this point, I think Progressive technically owns the car. The title's in Progressive's name, but it's never been issued a certificate of destruction or a scrap title or a junk title. So it may still be out there somewhere. But if you guys ever see another Evo with this kind of matte blue color across the dash, that could actually be my original car, especially if it has the door sill plates, that are stainless down there, and the pedal set. If it's got all three of those, could actually be my original car. And if you guys know of a car like that, leave a message in the comments. I would love to at least see, even if I could see pictures of what it looked like when it got wrecked. That was something I've always hoped to find, even through Progressive. I was hoping I could convince them to at least let me see what it looked like when it was wrecked. But anyways, like I said, I'll update you guys further on this project here. But till then, I'll see you guys later. Well, as you can see, kind of put it all back together. This is what it looks like after. Doesn't look too bad. Actually came out pretty good. Had a little tiny bit of scraping on the paint over there, but other than that, and that was just basically when I was putting the buttons back in. But other than that, actually, it came out pretty good. I think it looks all pretty decent. If there's anything else you'd like to see further on this car, just leave a comment. Subscribe, like, comment, and I'll see you later.